Hey, and welcome to another meal prep video. I have got a feeling this is going to go down as one of my favorite ones, low carb or otherwise. I cannot wait to eat this week. I am so excited over what I cooked. I don't normally get that excited over it. I really don't. I'm just like, oh, okay, that sounds good, but this week sounds good. So what I'm making is, the first thing for breakfast is just something I made up. I did not want a full-on breakfast casserole. I did not want egg whites again, because when you're doing a low-carb breakfast, it is hard to switch up eggs and meat into something different. So, I am eating potatoes for the potassium. And so I just thought, why don't I try this? Started with a hash brown patty. Easy as pie. Looks delicious. Cannot wait to eat it. Bacon and egg hash brown. Lunch. I knew I wanted pizza. Low carb, no crust. So I started looking. Nothing I found really struck my fancy. So I started formulating different things in my head. I guess I took from like all of them, and this is what I came up with, and I think it turned out really good. So I cannot wait to taste it. It's not one of those things that you can taste now, because the cheese on top does not melt until you heat it in the microwave. And that is going to be, I didn't mention in the video, but that's obviously going to be as long as whatever wattage your microwave is. So that's going to be different for everybody. Then I had some broccoli and a little slice of cheese on top of it that I had left from last week. I had a bunch of cheese. We still have a bunch of cheese left. And then for snack, this recipe came to me from a subscriber, Jan Moss. And she said, best ones you ever eat. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I got them through. David come through, went out to the building. He's out there, whatever, piddling. Well, everything I made today went in the oven. All three things went in the oven. So even though it's cold outside, it's hot in here. So I raised up the kitchen window. Well, I was over there, and he happened to come out the door, and I hollered at him. I said, hey, you want to try a sausage ball out the window? He said, yeah, I'll try one. So he come over to the window. He took a bite, and he said, boy, that is good. I said, well, Jan said it'd be the best you ever eat. So he had to come in looking for a pencil. He walked back by and he goes, well, let me get one more for the road. So I tasted one, and they are delicious. They're just the old-timey cheese sausage balls that we all grew up with, making at the holidays and taking to gatherings, except it used Bisquick. This uses almond flour to keep it low carb. That's all the difference. I cannot taste the difference other than the fact that they're delicious. So that is what we're making this week. All that being said, I'll just hush up and we will go over here and get started. So the first thing I want to do is start on our pizza bowl. Here, let me get it. I've already browned half a pound of hamburger. I figured I'd go ahead and have that done and just waiting on the side. But before we get into the vegetables and bacon, I want to try to keep my attention on that, because I don't want to burn any of this, and y'all know I am subject to burn. We're going to make our homemade pizza sauce. I'm going to double the recipe because I'm not really sure how much it's going to take, and anything left we can store in the fridge, add it when we eat it if we need more, dip something in it, whatever. So we want 2 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce. That looks like that's going to be enough, but we'll go ahead and double it anyway. Oh yeah, we definitely won't need that much, but I'm afraid we'll need more than 8 ounces. So 2 cans of that, or your favorite sauce, whatever your favorite pizza sauce is. 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now this is just a pizza sauce that I used back when the kids were home. Just everyday pizza sauce. 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And you feel free to jazz it up any old way you want to. 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. And 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm just whisk that together. Now when I put it on pizza, I put a tablespoon of oil in it. If I use it as a dipping sauce, I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the difference. Instead of 2 tablespoons, 1 per each batch, I'm just going to do 1 tablespoon for the whole thing, which is 3 teaspoons. But you can use it or you can leave it out, whatever you want to do. Mix that back in. Now let me set this aside, clean up these spices, and pull out all of our toppings that need chopping. Okay, the first thing I'm going to chop is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and chop a whole onion because I ran out in the fridge. So I can go ahead and fill up my little container at the same time. And the reason why I'm chopping it first is since I'm saving some for later, I don't want any of these other vegetables to get on the on the onions. And since the other vegetables are going together, it doesn't matter if they get onion on me. So y'all don't need to watch me chop an onion. I'll be back. Okay. Now let me show you what we're going to do. Get your big baking pan, cover it with parchment paper. We're going to cook all these on this pan at 450. I have my oven preheated. But we're not going to mix it together like a sheet pan dinner. We're going to lay it in lines, in sections, because each thing's going to get done at its own pace. And I don't want to burn any of it. So how much ever onion you think you might need between 4 bowls. I like a lot of onion. Okay, so let's just set that aside. Then we have a green pepper. Now, I don't know if you can see, we're going to put the peppers right beside the onions. They'll probably get done about the same time. Now we have 8 ounces of mushrooms. Okay, once I got them chopped up, half of that pack, so 4 ounces of mushrooms is way plenty once it gets chopped up. Then we want to do some pepperoni. Now do any kind of pepperoni you like. I'm going to do 16 slices. Let me get that off of there. Because I'm figuring 4 slices per bowl. You can do more or less. I just think that's just how much I want. Pepperoni gets kind of spicy to me, so I think this will be plenty for me. And I'm just going to slice it. I'm not going to dice it because I don't want it to burn completely up. But I'll break it apart. I'll show you the whole thing before we finish. I'm going to put it on one side. Let's see, where did I put my Canadian bacon? Okay, this is just Canadian bacon, Jones's Canadian bacon. I'm going to do, I think I decided, let me get my thing, 2 slices per bowl, but there's only 9 slices in the whole container, so I'm just going to use all 9. pepperoni's got my hands breathing. So I'm gonna dice it. Oops. Sorry about that. Let me pull this over here so you can see what we got going on. Now I've got to try to get all these So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to put it in at 450 and we're going to watch it. I'm going to check it every 5 minutes. And as things get done, if they all get done at the same time, that'd be a bonus. But as they get done quick, which I'm thinking the pepperoni's going to get done first, I'm going to take it off the pan and then put it back in there and let everything else finish. So let's go ahead and do that. And honestly, I'm not going to do anything at the same time because I'm afraid, like I said, I'll forget that I'm cooking it. So we'll just be back when everything is ready. And I'll tell you how long each one of them took. Okay, the vegetables got ready. The pepperoni was ready the first 5 minutes. And like I said, use as much as you want. It's just spicy to me, so I just want just enough to get a taste. Pulled that out in 5 minutes. Everything else, I let go for another 5 minutes, and it's like crisp tender. I think it's perfect. It's going to reheat a little bit more in here to melt the cheese, so that's what I'm going to do. 5 minutes for the pepperoni, and then another 5 minutes for everything else. Now, you notice I did do something while that was baking. I microwaved a bag of broccoli to go with it, and I still have plenty of that sliced cheddar cheese from last week, so I just threw a piece of that on there. Now, we're going to have to do this in stages, because I don't have that much room over here. So we're going to try to evenly divide our hamburger on the bottom. And all of these are ingredients that you can use as much or as little as you want. This is a no hard and fast rule here. Then the next thing, let me go ahead and sprinkle on my pepperoni. Hold on, let me get a rag. Next, we will do our Canadian bacon. Yeah, I don't suggest going any more than 5 minutes because it's going to dry it out. And you're going to be microwaving it more when it's time to eat. Okay, then let's just go ahead and add some mushrooms and green peppers. And finally, our onions. Okay, now let's get this out of the way. And the final topping is black olives. And I'm thinking a tablespoon per each one, but what I'm going to do is, this is a little 4-ounce can, so instead of having any left, I'm just going to divide it out, so that will be like an ounce per bowl. That's how I will calculate it. If there's any other pizza toppings you like, you feel free to add them. Now, the next thing I'm going to add is our pizza sauce. I'm going to go with a 1/3 cup probably what I would have done differently now that I'm doing this is put the meat down, put it on the meat, and then put the vegetables on top, but we've already done this, so I'm sure it'll be okay. That was the black olives, just plain old sliced black olives. And then 2 cups of cheese. I'm just using, well, because I bought it by mistake and it's been in the refrigerator, mozzarella and provolone. So whatever kind of white cheese you like. This is 2 cups. So I'm going to guesstimate a 1/2 cup on each bowl. Now the reason I did not want to bake this and then scoop it is because I didn't want it to get all hard. Because, you know, pizza cheese and all that, I didn't want it to dry out and get all hard. So this way, when we heat it up, it's going to melt the cheese at the same time. And it's not going to hurt anything if it gets on our broccoli. So there you have it. There are our pizza bowls. Now let's go back over to the stove and get started on our bacon and egg hash browns. For this breakfast dish, I have gone ahead and got this stuff done. I have 4 hash brown patties that kind of get in the freezer section. I let them thaw and brown one side, flipped it over, and just let it sit in the heat of the pan because it's going to go in the oven. I have dropped the oven from 450 down to 350. I also cooked some soft scrambled eggs. This is 6 scrambled eggs. And this is going to make 4 servings. But I didn't want to cook them too hard because then they'll bake a little bit more in the oven. Now, I was going to do 2 pieces of bacon. This is the fully cooked bacon that I like. And I don't know if I've ever noticed it say thick cut. It may have, but I remember there being 15 pieces in one of these boxes. And when I was pulling them out, there's 10. So I'm not going to put 2 back in there. I'm just going to put the whole 10 pieces on here. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cook it in the microwave first. Since it's already cooked and it's going in the oven, it will heat up in there. And then it'll be reheated at breakfast time. So I think it will be just fine. So just chop it into this little pieces. Now what I want to do is try to and brown your, so you don't have to you can do it any way you want, but so you don't have to mess up another pan. If you have something that your hash browns will go into, brown them in that, and then you can stick that in the oven and you won't have to mess up an extra pan. But this does get kind of hot. It's not even been in the oven yet. What I want to do is, see, I didn't want a casserole. So I'm going to try to make them 4 individual as I can. If I can't, that's fine. But I'm going to put the bacon on the bottom. So maybe it'll stay on with the eggs on top. When I scoop it out, I can scoop it out as evenly as possible. Then we want to top it with our scrambled eggs. I'm running out of room over here. And I salt and peppered my eggs. Okay. Now the last thing, you can tell some of the eggs are falling off, but that's okay. We'll scoop them up. The last thing we want is 1 cup of shredded cheese. This is a cup of the finely shredded cheddar cheese that I had in the freezer that I've just been letting sit out and thaw. So that would be 1/4 cup on each one. So just eyeball it. This is one of those things that you can use more or less of anything you want. Okay, now we're going to pop this in 350. I do not know how long because this is new. This is just coming up with it. Just until the cheese is good and melty. So I'll just keep a check on it every 5 minutes and let you know. All right, how quick and easy was this? Took 5 minutes. Look how cheesy. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That looks delicious. There is our easier than easy breakfast dish. Now we will go make our cheesy sausage balls and then we'll be done. Alright, now I haven't made cheese balls in so long. I don't know if I've ever made them in the KitchenAid or not. I probably just mixed them by hand, but I thought this maybe, fingers crossed, might make it easier. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to spray the paddle and the sides of the bowl. Maybe that'll help it not stick so bad. So the first thing we need is 1 pound of your favorite bulk breakfast sausage. And y'all should know by now, Niece's is my favorite. And I would say if you're mixing this by hand, get you a good sturdy spoon, like a good wooden spoon. And I'm going to see if I can break that up a little bit. And to that, we need 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of go at it backwards. This is a 2-cup bag. Instead of trying to fight with 1.5 cups, I'm going to remove 1/2 cup. And then just pour the rest in. I just thought that sounded easier. And it was. Now let's mix that together a little bit. Okay, before that gets going too good, let's get our spatulator here. We need 1 cup of almond flour, because these are low carb, and a tablespoon of baking powder. And that is all there is to it. So let's let these things go until they're well combined. Okay, now, look at there. That worked like a charm. If you use your mixer, spray, spray, spray. Oh, that worked like a charm. So, let me get this out of the way. Now, I have already put my oven up to 375 from 350 where we were for breakfast. Another, actually it's the same baking sheet I used for the pizza. Brand new sheet of parchment paper. Now, I am also going to spray. You can take these out with a spoon to measure them evenly, with your hands, cookie scoop, make them any size you want. Just adjust your cooking time. But I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop them with my cookie scoop. And then we'll go back and, you know what? I might not even need to. Yeah, I'm going to go back and roll those with my hands just to make sure that they're sticking together real good. Okay, now if you can see, my pan is completely crowded. I didn't feel like switching, so I'm putting them all on here. They're not going to expand, they're just going to stay together. Now, what I'm going to do is spray my hands with a little spray. And y'all know I don't like raw meat, but the piggy don't bother me. Now, raw pork chops, I don't like that, but like other pigs and things and sausage, that don't bother me. I know, it's weird. So just take each one and roll it into a nice, pretty little ball. Okay, now see, once you get them all rolled up, they fit really nicely on this one pan. So we're going to put these in at 375 for 20 minutes, and we'll check it. We want them browned and done on the inside. Okay, these took about 22 minutes. I'm going to set them on this paper towel lined plate to drain, and I will meet you on the other side of the kitchen. Look at the bottom of that. Ooh, doesn't that look good? I will meet you over on the other side to see what we have for the week. All right, so here we have this beautiful food to eat this week. I'm ready. Breakfast, we have our bacon and egg hash browns. Carbs and calories will be on the screen. And of course, that is for my particular ingredients and brands, so you will have to refigure them if you change anything. We have our pizza bowl. Kind of hard to tell how good it looks with that cheese on top, but y'all saw me make it. And a little bit of broccoli. And then our beautiful cheesy sausage balls. I'm ready to dig in. This made 30. Using that cookie scoop, it made 30. So I will have to redo the recipe because I wasn't sure how many I would get out of it. So this is what's going to keep me on track this week on a low-carb diet, way of eating, whatever you want to call it. And I hope you enjoy this video. I'll see you on my next one.